know who phoned him.
Had a South African ring me from DHL today, and he was kind of like, "I'm looking for a piece of paperwork. Can you send me an email with the invoice on? So is the box anywhere near you?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "You know that envelope on the outside says documents?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What do you think's in it?" From DHL. Oh, have I got to go there? He was kind of like, "Where are you?" Paperwork. East Midlands. He said, "East Midlands." I was like, "Oh, thank fuck." I thought if you say Johannesburg, I'm gonna fucking blow my head off. Fucking assholes get everywhere. We're meant to be live. We could be live. I might have just been racist. Live.
We are live.
Wasn't racist.
It wasn't racist.
I'm fine.
So I gave her a pearl necklace.
Hey. And then I said, "Don't wear those. Wear these."
And I turned around and I was covered in piss.
So I flipped her over.
No.
Drove away.
It's gone wrong.
Oh dear. Oh well, on that, I think they can hear us.
I don't know if they can. And I haven't had any acknowledgement yet. Sput's 40. He's just saying hello to everybody.
So I threw her in the sea.
It flipped it back on his wheels and just drove away.
Don't even know what accents they're doing now.
Let's roll intro.
Yeah, go for it. They're not acknowledging it.
And we are live.
Ooh.
Welcome to the new Ohm Show. Episode 8, Chapter 8.
Season 2.
The Chronicles of Ohm. What a show we've got for you today. It's absolutely jam-packed. We've got new vape gear coming out of our ears. We've got special guest Craig from the
Just on
old
that,
Ohm Show.
Just where you said it was jam-packed, does that mean it's packed with jam?
Yeah. A lot of jam.
It's a phrase.
I had a jam sandwich just before.
It just means there's stuff and things.
I so missed it.
Yep, so there's lots of stuff and things. We've got vaping news, we've got vaping news stuff, we've got Craig on the show, we've got Brad and John as well.
Why?
From justadnick.co.uk. Let's just crack on. I'm assuming everything's fine, otherwise they'd have told us.
Who's that? I thought hopefully. Oh yeah. Well, someone's put long time no sees to Craig, so hopefully
they can definitely see us. They can definitely see us, and I'm sure they'd have said if they couldn't hear us. So let's crack on. John, what are you drinking? What are you vaping?
Oh, I'm on a bit of Ease Up IPA. I've got two more Ease Ups and one of those Hobgoblin IPAs. They're all right. So that's what I'm drinking. You do feel the need to take a sip to prove you are drinking. Don't know why. It's just me. I've got Can Only Be Breakfast from Mr. John Nathan from the Red 4.
Damn it. I need to get some again. Is it in stock?
No, but it should be shortly. I've got your other one you like. Can Only Be Mine. Got that.
I've got a litre of that now. So.
We'll have some. We'll have Can Only Be Breakfast soon. I've got the thing from the people. What is it? Come on, it's the one that's like a shortened version of a word. What's in here?
Bloody hell! What the hell are you on about?
Yeah, no, you've lost me there, darling.
That was
the atomizer I could never pronounce when I had it. Karma Bridge inside there.
Maybe it's Korma.
Exactly.
Chicken korma.
Yeah.
Then I've got the Geek Vape Aegis X. It's the X, isn't it? With really, look how fuck ugly that is though. With a VAR 16 on top. It lasts days though. At a massive 13.6 watts with crack count in it. Craig, what are you drinking? What are you vaping?
I can get two things out of the way at the same time. I am drinking and eating.
That's the handiness of a scratch between the legs, isn't it?
It is.
That way at the same time.
Just that Gucci bit between.
Is that your dinner? It's you're on Huel.
Yeah, I've got.
You like Brad's on that?
Yeah, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's all right. I don't have it very much, so I only have it like once every 3 days or something.
He has it as pudding.
Yeah. I had my cheese on toast earlier just to kind of pad it out.
How do you find it?
It's all right. I can't do more than I can't do it every day. It just gets a bit so I kind of spread it out a bit.
Brad tried to convince me it was cheaper than food, and then I told him it wasn't.
The problem I have is
I've been having it for 2 years.
Yeah, you can tell.
It's in a downward spiral.
Yeah, those Mogadon nights. Yeah, so what am I vaping on? I'm vaping on a very battered looking. Look at that, the paint's coming off it now.
Oh yeah, it's going to look quite nice when that paint's off.
Yeah, yeah, on the D Pro Mini on top of a powered by Asus.
What is it? Is it a Basim?
Yeah, it's a Basim thing.
Yeah.
So I hammer the shit out of that.
Still got mine on the daily.
Yeah, just works. I got one from Richard here. I don't know what it is at all, actually.
Oh, it's a Tesla.
Is it a Tesla? Yeah, so that rubbery type thing.
It's a Tesla Wii Mini.
A Wii Mini. It's kind of very Scottish. Yeah, it's really good.
Well, it's WYE.
A YI Mini. It's a Geordie one. Yeah, and I got a tobacco Super Tank Mini on top with tobacco coils in. I've still got some tobacco coils. The only other thing I've got is the Hellfire and my Uber 2 with blackcurrant crack in there. I've got at the moment, and in that one I've got strawberry fluff. Yeah, in the Basium I have got Cannoli B1. So that's all I vape nowadays. I've not bought any juice from anybody else but John for about the last year. So it's kind of.
Cheers, man.
So I'm quite happy with that.
Got a question from Mark Todd in chat.
Oh yeah, was he here?
Who's the guy in the bottom right?
No, yeah, well, you did end the thing, end the end of it.
They set up a webcam in a care home. That's nice.
You know that list, Paulie, you know that list that you asked me to make of 5 people, right?
You're exactly the same. I don't know. Are you 50 yet? Yeah. Mark
beat me to it by about 84 days.
So he's older then.
Mark's older than me by about 84 days.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But he's not a spastic, so he's a bit mentally spastic, but I'm physically spastic. So
yeah.
It's kinda,
you heard it here first.
Not joining in with that.
Love you, Mark. Yeah, so I get to ask the question. Brad, what have you been eating other than fuel stuff? And what are you vaping on?
I am still vaping on my UL EVL twin.
Yeah, do it on the camera.
Working camera. That's a little bit
You
better.
missed it the other week when he tried to show me his camera with his camera. It was fucking amazing.
You're never going to let me live there.
He was trying to. He said, "Richard advised me what camera to get, so I got this one." He put his hand out, and then he went to do it, and I went, "You're about to show me your camera. Your camera, weren't you, mate?"
Yeah, I picked it up and I tried to turn it around.
It was fucking amazing.
In here, I've moved back to Cactus Jackie because, unfortunately, I am out of the elderflower apple officially.
Oh, have I got any? I might have got some 40 milligrams somewhere.
I might
Oh
have
no,
some
that'll
somewhere.
fucking blow my head off. And I am drinking Mojo Jojo, which for the 12-year-olds who are clearly.
It's a great label, and it is an awful beer.
Yeah, first up, I don't know if you saw the face.
Who made it? We were talking about this before. Is it Marston's?
Robinson's.
Oh, yeah, great label.
They should stick to making spice.
Or labels.
Or squash.
Just
Squash,
leave the
Squash.
bottles.
Barley water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it, I think.
But you get a Richard.
Richard, darling, what you're vaping and what you're drinking?
Okay, so still got my billet box from Pro.
Pretend bullet box.
I was looking at you thinking, you liar.
If you just went, I just got my billet box, like no. So that's the thing. Still quite enjoying it, to be honest. I also still got the MPV5 quality beta.
MVP.
Looks torch. You just can't beat a torch. You can do that. You can sort of,
Look like Voldemort again.
it's just great. And when you vape, it goes off. I still think it's good. I think it's the perfect dog walking mod.
Have you noticed how John and Brad are not taking any notes and looking at their phones?
I'm listening. I'm trying to set up the next thing. I am listening to it. It's the perfect dog walking mod. I've been doing this shit for 4 fucking years. I know exactly what's going on. He hasn't got a fucking dog.
Yeah, but if I did, and I was walking it at night, vaping, looking at stuff.
So if you're out,
for poo.
if you're out dogging, you've got the torch for it.
Yeah.
If I had a dog, I would go dogging.
Spotlight the scene. Kind of.
I assume that is the verb.
That is the correct term, yeah.
So you can check the number plates out.
I don't know if anybody watched that car show. It was quite funny.
It was good, wasn't
it? It was quite good.
Good format. I've still got the Kelpie on the blocks pumper. Much better this week with a better coil in. Got used to it a bit now, a couple of builds in. And I'm going to review that at the weekend. And yeah, I've got to grips with it a bit better now.
I watched a review for that today. I don't think I'm getting one.
sad mix press so far.
Yeah.
Vick likes it.
Wonder why. Is he paying tax?
Yeah, there's been some negative reviews and positive reviews and stuff. That's the thing. And this on top of the Mustang.
Oh.
Anytime I get anything that's too big, I put it on the Mustang now.
It's just to make it look better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes every atty look good.
Holy crap.
So the thing is, the Mustang has got its own sort of sense of sexiness.
Yeah, I mean,
the Mustang,
it's so light.
I love it. One of the best boards as well.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I love it. But I'm going to talk about this later. This is the new Vandy Vape RDTA with stainless steel wicks.
Oh,
how very European.
Yeah.
Very European. And that's kind of boggling me a bit. You don't go to McDonald's and get stainless steel rope straw, do you, with your Coke? It would solve a lot of problems, because those paper straws are awful, aren't they? Yeah, so that's mind blowing. We'll talk about that later.
But then
juice,
all of the chavs would use it for the stabby.
What juice are you on?
Deep rooted.
Never mind.
No stabbing people with fucking...
I think you're right. Brad. But metal objects exist.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be their first. It wouldn't be their first opportunity to hold metal. So deep rooted, that's nice. And also the other thing I'm mainly vaping is can only be breakfast.
Good man.
Damn it. Fucking run out.
Let's slide into the news.
This is a bit of a flashback. Are you going to run the...
No, because I haven't fixed them. They're all still too loud, so let's skip them.
Oh, okay, we'll skip it. Okay, straight into the news. This is.
Hang on. The first news item is.
I've got it. I've read the runs.
I'm setting it up.
Go for it. Sorry, man.
So, first item in the news is from the Coventry Telegraph. John.
Bloody hell. Okay, no, I didn't know that. That's what I was setting up. Gary. This is quite a flashback, actually.
Children.
It's quite good. Well, last time this was mentioned that I did it was on the old Ideal Ohm Show. So I'm going to wonder. I don't know. I reckon Craig might remember it.
I remember 6 months ago.
Oh no, it was way before that.
Oh, it got news attention about 6 months ago as well.
Oh, did it? Here we go. Are you ready? Drivers who vape could face bans and a £5,000 fine. You could be liable for a £100 on-the-spot fine and 3 penalty points, or worse. Drivers could be set for hefty fines if they are caught vaping behind the wheel. Motorists have undergone a crackdown in the past for smoking cigarettes whilst driving, and now it appears those who vape are in the crosshairs. Those seem to be puffing away will reportedly be set for a whopping £5,000 fine. I don't know, they jumped the fines a few times. There's different ones. £5,000 fine in some cases.
They do explain it later on.
I will.
No, they do. They explain the fine mechanism later on.
Oh, okay. Anyway, vaping has already been linked to some serious health concerns, but it turns out there's another way that the healthy alternative, in inverted commas, they put there, to smoking can get you into trouble. It's never been called healthy, has it? Has it? No. It's not been that.
A healthier alternative.
It's not healthy.
The Royal College of Physicians.
I'm going to try and...
Public Health England.
Here we go. Motorists involved in a crash or turning their attention away from the road to vape can face cash penalties. If you're involved in an accident while vaping in your car, or even if the police just see you streaming along with a car full of vapor, you could be liable for a £100 on-the-spot fine and 3 penalty points. In some serious cases where the fine is contested in court, it can be £5,000. Here we go. The explanation. This has got nothing at all to do with vaping. Any secondary activity such as eating, talking on a mobile phone, or indeed vaping, which is undertaken whilst driving, is a source of distraction and creates increased risk of being involved in a crash. He continues, there's been a range of estimations about the number of accidents that are caused or contributed to by the driver's distraction. Rose accident data talks about distractions. Yeah, it's really, this came up a few years ago.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. It's about being distracted whilst driving. If you've got your hands on top of the wheel like that and you're trying to steer and trying to drip into an atomizer, you don't have full control of the vehicle.
If you've got one of those tacky, but if you've got one of those tacky things that Mark had that you could put on your windscreen where you went like that and it dripped for you.
You're all setting yourself up for a GIF as well.
Yeah, but it's basically the actual headline, if you want to digest it and regurgitate it, driving distracted is still illegal.
Yes.
So you're still not allowed to drive unsafely on British roads.
Knitting in the car.
If you filled your car up completely with vapor. Yeah. If you filled up your car with vapor completely, a policeman could deem that as dangerous and stop you. If you're re-wicking an RDA at the wheel,
if you take both hands off the wheel and light a cigarette, you're not in full control of the vehicle.
Or looking the other way.
Yeah.
Just
the classic is messing with a TomTom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. If a police officer sees someone, not with poor lane control or something, then they see them tapping away at their.
Have you ever been in a car? One of those people who like. She doesn't watch. She doesn't watch. I'm going to say it. My mother-in-law will sometimes go to get a CD, and if I'm in the back of the car, I hold the handle because you can leave the lane you're in while she's trying to find a CD and get it in the thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you doing?
She's looking for better hymns, John.
No, my mother-in-law, not my mum.
Oh, sorry.
She doesn't have the radio in the car. Why would she do that? There might be some anti-God stuff on there. She has never. I don't think she knows how it works. It won't be tuned into anything.
I guess unofficially what we'd say to anyone worried is vape responsibly in your car. Maybe do it in a traffic jam or traffic lights with the window down, blow it outward, and don't try and refill your tank or anything. But
I think you summed it up perfectly.
Don't give a policeman an excuse.
I think you summed it up perfectly with driving whilst distracted is still illegal.
Yeah. But no, there is no rules specific to vaping, and if there is, we wouldn't get it from the Coventry Telegraph. It'd come from the police.
It was that was with everybody. But the Coventry Telegraph was quite funny. It was in like the Cornish Herald and the Welsh Online and lots of stuff. But I just picked up that one because I thought it was funniest. And all the shit.
I do like the safer alternative.
Yeah, I like safer alternative. Anything in inverted commas, you get something good, healthy.
You can tell the writer has a little bit of a personal vendetta against vaping. There's angst in the actual writing.
It's an ex-smoker who's still got a Nicorette patch on.
Yeah.
Yeah, safer alternative.
One thing, right, complete off topic, but have you noticed that local papers are just not local anymore? I mean, we've got the Derby Telegraph, and we got something which said something had gone and happened. They clicked on it, and it was in Hull. Mm-hmm. It's like, the fuck. So anyway, that's
I've got on
they're chasing the tails, aren't they?
Yeah. On my BBC News app, I have it as Suffolk, and it just said, "Woman found dead," and I clicked it, and it said, "Woman found dead just outside of Norwich." Yes, we have fuck off a long way outside of Norwich to be in the Suffolk News.
She might have been from Suffolk.
She wasn't.
Oh.
The headline the other day on the Yorkshire Post was Macaulay Culkin not dead.
Amazing.
Wow.
Check it out, Google it. Not now.
You definitely should have bought that. That's wicked. If it's a print version, you should have got it.
Yeah.
Derby is clearly boring, says Paul.
They're all struggling. They're all struggling, the local rags, and no one's interested. So they just do national news, which people are interested in.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, that's that. The next piece of news is from a science rag, isn't it, John?
Yes, it's from sciencemag.org. But the reason I've used this article is because it's got two. It's a 2-in-1. WHO came out with a report this week, and it was instantly rebutted by British scientists. And so sciencemag.org have put the whole lot in one article, so it's easier than doing two.
Hold on. Is that a question? Who?
No,
really?
WHO, WHO, the World Health Organization.
He just knew it was coming.
Did they do it from third base?
Here we go. WHO, they've used that. WHO warning on vaping draws harsh response from UK researchers. New warnings about vaping issued this week by the World Health Organization have prompted strong pushback from public health experts in the United Kingdom, who charged that WHO was spreading WHO was spreading blatant misinformation about the potential risks and benefits of e-cigarettes. I'm going to kind of flip to the bit. In the document released on Monday, WHO expressed reservations about the value of e-cigarettes and grave concerns about their risks. The organisation stated there is no doubt that e-cigarettes are harmful to health and are not safe, but it's too early to provide a clear answer on the long-term impact of using them or being exposed to them. WHO also suggested there is not enough evidence to support the use of these products for smoking cessation. I think there is.
Jesus.
And urged smokers looking to quit to try nicotine patches or gum, things that have been proven not to work.
God.
Or other tools such as hotlines that counsel smokers. There is a really good one, Babe Station. I've seen a few times. I don't know the number. Very good.
Yeah, but the problem is, after the wank, then you really need a cigarette.
I don't know what they do, Brad. I just saw it. Counselling service. The UK response was harsh. The WHO has a history of anti-vaping activism, and this is damaging their reputation. This document is partially malign, said Peter Hadjic, who directs the Tobacco Dependence Research Unit at the Queen Mary University of London. There is no evidence that vaping is highly addictive, he said. Less than 1% of non-smokers become regular vapers. Vaping does not lead to young people smoking. Smoking among young people is at an all-time low. There is clear evidence that e-cigarettes help smokers quit. E-cigarettes are less harmful than tobacco, said John Britton, director of the UK Centre for Tobacco and Alcohol Studies and a consultancy a consultant in respiratory medicine at the University of Nottingham. WHO misrepresents the available scientific evidence. Public Health England maintains that vaping is at least 95% less harmful than cigarettes. That's really the end. The one thing that they did skip from this article is that the World Health Organization, when pressed at the end of this statement, is vaping less harmful than smoking? And they said, we don't know.
Mowgli Vapes in chat sums it up brilliantly. China delivers new plague by airplane, but who is focused on THR?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to a few Americans.
I have a theory about that plague from China.
Oh yeah.
I think it was delivered by Netflix.
They deliver everything else, don't they?
Yeah, well, they just happened to release their series thing on pandemic today, and there happens to be a pandemic or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Coming from China
Can't be a
yesterday.
coincidence. It's good
It's
marketing.
a little bit too
Good marketing.
Yeah, China just thought, you know what, fuck it.
Wait. I'm going in with the
pun.
pun. That is viral marketing at its best.
There we go.
God, now I know why I left.
I was going to do a pun on the Who, the band. I'll leave it now.
But the one thing that's quite right is the World Health Organization have been against vaping from the beginning. They're heavily influenced by Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah.
And everybody else who makes nicotine.
The baby lotion people.
Yeah, same people. They're too busy giving people cancers in their fanny from their fucking talcum powder, actually. They've got
Allegedly.
No, it's not alleged anymore.
No,
You don't have to say
Allegedly, it's not alleged.
No, they've already paid out. Yeah, no, they lost. So the World Health Organization continue to be full of shit would be a more apt thing. What's the vaping? I can't remember. Somebody used the acronym the other day, which I really think that we should, as a community, not use. Which is, the acronym for vaping related injury thing they've got going on in the States when they're counting them using that. It's not a new thing that those people have got pneumonia caused by inhaling oil. That's not new.
And vitamin C and all sorts of
Vitamin E acetate, but it's the same thing. It's still it's still pneumonia. It's not anything. That's really weird. If you crashed a Ford Fiesta, you wouldn't have Ford Fiesta-titis. You'd have just had a car crash. It doesn't make any difference. That's ridiculous to call it that. Yeah, but who have always been fuckheads, so they continue.
You were going to touch on the New Jersey thing.
Sorry, it's going to go. We kind of talked about it twice in the last 3 weeks. We said it was imminent, and it has gone through. The banning of all flavours except tobacco has now gone through in New Jersey, and the governor has signed the bill. So that's happening. They've got a month to get rid of your shit.
I thought it was 90 days.
I think
you're right. Sorry, 90 days. Yeah, but they're going to try and fight it. I don't really see how you're going to fight. I don't know how to get a foothold in it because it's total bullshit. So
there's going to be some legal cases from some businesses.
Fingers crossed that they can do,
but only from their personal loss standpoint, because they've got like 2-year leases on vape shops, things like that.
Yeah,
he got absolutely dogpiled. The guy did on Twitter. He was brutal, the shit they were throwing at him for doing it. He deserved every bit of it.
Yeah.
And the next little drop-in news segment I've got, I'm just trying to stop my phone is going to actually start shouting at us if I press the thing on it. It is. It's from the video released earlier today. I know there's feelings either way about I don't know, I've got to say it. Jay Hayes. I know he's a kind of bit of a Marmite reviewer.
Yeah.
But he released a video today, which is called "Proof That Rutgers Vape Testing is Corrupt."
I saw that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the researchers went into his bricks and mortar store we had a problem with the vaping device, and he asked her. I suppose there you go. If you don't want to watch it, I'll save you watch it. There was a problem with the vaping device. He asked her what they were using it for, and she said, "Oh, they were doing the research with that setup." He asked what the problem was. She said it wasn't working. He asked her if she bought it there, and she didn't. But he, like most shops, they'll help out, and he was trying to help out. So he said, "Okay, how does the apparatus fit to it?" And after some confusion, she said that there was no apparatus per se. It was a test tube. And what she did, I just need to not burn out my own atomizer. She said, we fire the atomizer, and then we tip out the vapor into a test tube, and then we test the thing.
Oh.
And throughout the exchange, he does stay very, very calm with her and just says that'll never work.
Very rightfully had a good giggle at that point.
Yeah, but he wasn't shitty with her. He then, when he was doing his off-cam bit, he kind of explained it. But obviously explaining that the head will burn out, and the only thing you're going to be testing is metal, because there's no liquid being drawn onto the wick because nobody's pulling on it.
It relies on air passing by a coil. That's the basic idea.
As he said. It's a quite hard thing to explain, because I was trying to explain it to, we were just talking about it in a chat earlier this morning when it kind of broke, and I kind of had to say to Richard this and fire my own atomizer and turn it upside down and tip the vapor out. This is what they were doing, tipping the vapor out into a test tube and then testing it.
Then what they do is they put the test tubes to one side, and the week later they then test on that vapor.
Yeah. But it would come up if you were testing, if it was a totally clear tube and you were testing in a mass spectrometer, which is what we were talking about last week. It would show. You could show up really minute particles of stuff, but you're not testing anything because there was no air drawn over it. So yeah.
If you're misusing the product to begin with, you're not testing it the way people are using it. So you're getting the wrong fucking result.
Exactly the point that Jay made.
Like I said this morning, it's like us going out and testing the fucking local water quality using a stick.
In a ditch.
A ditch, yeah, fuck. If I throw the stick in and it floats, fuck, it's water.
Really weird. Yeah, so go on.
Okay, is that?
Yes.
That's the news. Let's do some new stuff, some new vape stuff. This one's quite exciting. It's very in our ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Todd's already reviewed it. John,
God,
he has.
It's the Arch.
Yeah. Arch by Limelight.
Yes, picture on screen now. What is it, John?
So it's a tank that takes borrowed tank. I was going to say billet, but I didn't. It takes borrowed tank atomizers. So atomizers that were made for the borrowed tank in the billet box or many other things now. You can actually fit them inside the tank. And Mark had got two set up, one with a Haku and one with the vape shell. They're totally different shapes and stuff, and had them both fitted in and both running. So you can use, if you've got one billet box, but you've got different things, which I have, then it gives you a few options. You can stick it on something else. I thought it was quite clever, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it saves a load of money on the machining of the actual most difficult bit of a tank, the deck, so it's kind of...
But you can use things that you wouldn't normally be using if you've only got one borrow tank.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea at all, actually. And I think it's quite good looking, to be fair.
It's very good looking.
The only thing I was a little Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. The borrow tank suffers from it anyway, and that will suffer from it in a way. You'd want to be using it on top of something regulated, because there's so many resistance points in a borrow tank anyway. So putting it inside more metal stuff with more contacts, you are obviously, there's going to be a drop across the thing. Every time there's a thread, the biggest drop in a billet box, everybody knows, is the top nut. If you don't keep this clean, where the 510 is, yeah. Sorry, the drip tip bit, not the top. You lose point whatever across the top. And you'll lose more if it's in something else, and more threads, more problems. But I like it. I think it's a great idea. And Limelight have come up with it, so it looks great.
It's going to be a 24mm one as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
which might be more, because capacity is going to be an issue, surely.
Yeah, it always is. Depends how big that atomizer is. The vape shell's quite large. You do lose.
Apparently, the vape shell is only going to fit in the 24mm one.
Oh. Fine, that makes way more sense.
It's a big square one, that one.
Yeah, it's a big cubey thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know the price though. The price is key, I think, because like Craig says, they haven't had to make a deck.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bit. I can't imagine it. Certainly, if it was more than 100 quid, you'd be like smarting badly.
It's the kind of thing you'd more likely see from like steam turners, isn't it, or steam tuners?
Yeah,
steam tuners.
Yeah, perfect. It is exactly what you think.
I think it's a clever idea. I'd never wanted a billet box, but some of the Atties have looked cool.
But you've got one.
No, he hasn't. He nearly messed up then, because a great supplier of billet box accessories spotted you holding your billet box, and we never explained you weren't. And then they said, "Oh, Richard's got a billet box." And I had to jump on chat and go, "No."
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit of that going on, because it's that 18350 billet box, isn't there? By the people that usually do clones. I can't remember what it's called. Have you seen
that's been around for a while. They had it.
But obviously all these atomizers technically do fit in there as well. So
when you say the people who did the clones, you mean all those high-end reviewers that were in UVA and places like that, and He-Man.
Yeah, but it has been classed as a clone now, because they didn't get permission from anybody.
Oh, 60 quid, they say.
Well, it's a clone anyway. It's a clone anyway, because they're using.
Yeah, I agree. I did from the start. Well, we didn't.
It's the Phantom. That was right. It's Phantom.
Yeah,
but it's using clone
60 quid
parts,
for the
isn't it?
tank's pretty good.
The art holds 4mm depending on what bridge you're using.
Yes, and apparently it's about 60 quid.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, SXK right. Tony's come up with Bantam Box. Someone's called it.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Well, something like that. But obviously they do fit in there, so it's the same thing. So that's all good. That's quite exciting. That's clever. It's clever. There's a few things now using those, so it's interesting. I still don't see the point, in a way. Do you know what I mean, though?
I like it. It's a good way of using.
Over just a good RTA.
Or a billet box.
Or a billet box. Well, I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like the billet.
I think the billet box is just a design classic.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
It really is.
Beautiful.
And now they've got the die codes chip in some of them. I think it's great. Yeah.
But it's like saying, "Oh, let's have a game of five-a-side with a Sabutio ball," and everyone goes, "Why?" And you go, "Because I've got a Sabutio ball."
That's brilliant.
Cheers.
I want to argue, but I won't. We've got side by side.
Oh, we have. Now, to be honest, I don't know too much about this. It's from Ambitions Mods, who've done some cool stuff. They made the Gate RTA, which is still probably the best affordable mouth-to-lung RTA on the market. And this is a side-by-side mod from them. I think they had a bit of trouble with the mech. They'd brought out an 18350 mech, which wasn't perfect, didn't they? But this looks like a return to form, a side-by-side regulated mod. 18650 on the left, and then your Atty sits on the right.
Oh, I did see this the other day.
Are you showing pictures?
I'm showing pictures that you can't see.
Oh, God damn you.
There. That's what it looks like, Craig.
I quite like that.
That's quite that's quite nice.
It's
like one of the
Mini
Minions.
E6.
It's like the Minion by Alliance Tech.
Oh, I would say it was a mix between that and the Israeli company, Mini E6, who made the
front face is exactly like the Helix, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad. They've obviously been inspired by quite a few different designs, but they don't seem to have nicked any, which is the important one.
I was just thinking that the
Perfect for
EVL
that.
might actually look quite good on that.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
I reckon you're right. How much? Oh, do you not know the price yet? Sorry.
It'll be in their ballpark, so 50 quid, something like that, 60 quid.
Oh, that's not bad.
But I don't know. Hold off. I don't know if Mark is reviewing it, has reviewed it. I think he's got one, but I think he might be having trouble with it. So
okay.
keep your ears to the Shed group and to Mark's YouTube channel.
He's just written in chat saying nothing.
But if they fix that or whatever the issue is or whatever, I think I would be very interested in it.
I'll wait for Mark's final word before I pull the trigger on that.
Mark's saying it's on revision 3 at the moment.
Do you want a Stig Helix, Richard?
No.
Because I'll send you one if you want one. I've not used them in ages. So.
You're crazy.
I've not used them.
£57 they're gonna be.
Yeah.
But as we said, it might be worth waiting. It sounds like they're having a few issues. But if they straighten all those out, I think it's cool.
60 quid from SR vape. Oh, 57 quid, yeah.
So we'll wait and see. Next on the list, let's have a look.
Also, Tony said, is that a clone of the Facaris mods? But it doesn't look enough like a toilet. Can't be.
Ooh. Yeah. Right, the next one is a dot mod tank, and it is the dot MTL. Now, this has actually been out a little bit, and I think it's out in full swing. Now, this is kind of a warning. We didn't actually cover this device, and I think it's quite bonny, as dot mod stuff often is. But apparently, there is, again, there's some potential issues. A lot of people are reporting problems with their dot MTL's tanks. So I just wanted to warn people, kind of, that leaking issues, unexplainable leaking issues, seem to be.
Let's be honest, all leaking issues are explainable.
Yes. I think in vaping terms, what they mean is it's not a wicking issue. You know, even if you just stuff it with cotton completely, this is still an issue. You know.
Because one part doesn't fit the other part properly.
It's not.
Yeah. Or shit that should stay inside comes outside.
Or the air's getting in through. The air's getting in through the threading, and then
it'll be that the tolerance is too tight, or something. There's something off because it's auto siphoning. If it's leaking with that design, when you've got that hood over the top, if you get it wrong, it'll just pull the whole.
At first glance, the bottom O-ring just looks in the wrong place.
The
fact that you can see that O-ring. I don't know, just at a glance, where they've placed that O-ring just above the threading that is visual through the glass, because that is real glass.
Yeah. They've been doing really well. And then they go back to what you'd expect.
The problem is that the people who were behind it fucked off, didn't they? And now it's just cheap shit.
Yes, it went full China. Never got full China.
But they've done really well. The dot mod AIO has probably been the most popular little mod this year so far.
Yeah, but they went full China.
Yeah. I didn't say I'd got one.
If anyone's watching from China,
we love you, mate.
Yeah.
We love you, Lucy.
So that's the thing. So I just want to put that out there. Maybe hold off if you were tempted by that. I know we've got a lot of Mastodon fans in.
Definitely.
And that's for now. Oh no, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about the Mato.
I was wondering whether that came with a backpack.
I'd like it because I think Richard will like it if it's like a taste of a dripper. I reckon.
So
it looks all right.
Yeah, so it's an RDTA, which means obviously you've got your deck up here, nice and high up. You've got your airflow.
With that fucking awful airflow that it's got in the Kelpie.
It's so the air's on the old ramps. It's on the old sort of U shape, and it's coming in there. It's got a very clever valve for refilling it, although I'm suspicious of valves like that because I don't think they last. But that's by the by. What's really interesting about this for a mainstream Chinese company? It's the first one I've seen where it comes with and is intended to be used with stainless steel rope as wicking. I'm trying to show
very
that on
German.
Very German. It's in collaboration with a German reviewer. So obviously that'll be why that's a thing. I haven't really experienced much stainless steel rope wicking. Not this way around. Certainly not this way around. I used to use the old mesh trick on the Typhoons.
Yeah.
But that was where the juice was coming down to the coil, and you wanted it to just very
I've done it that
slowly.
way. They'll definitely. I mean, it'll definitely keep up.
It's not keeping up that well for me.
Oh, it might be worth changing the rope for better rope. I don't know.
That's I did think about that because it comes with exactly ready to go rope, so the exact size, you drop it straight in. But I didn't know if there's different grades, different qualities of these things, and
it's basically a leak-proof Kraken.
Did you burn them? Did you heat them up?
Yeah, gave them a little, just to get not for any.
No, to clean them off.
Just to get.
Yeah, that's what I would have done definitely. Well, the man in the know would be Mr. Mark Todlington.
Yeah, he's got shit tons of rope.
I've used Messrs Wicking and it keeps up. I've never had a problem with it.
What they want you to do with this one is literally just place your cotton on top of the stainless steel, the stainless steel, the cotton lovely bungs up on top of that entrance and exit of the steel. I just for fun today just took the steel out and just used it as like every other RDTA I've ever had.
Okay.
Yeah. Where just the natural action of vaping constantly wets the cotton up here anyway.
Like drawers anyway, if it's
Did it work?
Yeah, better.
Oh,
okay. But I'm still playing. I'm still trying stuff. I'm still trying to get
and it will bump up the tank volume space. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, Volker, was not Volker, it'd be Yolka, I assume, is saying no need to fiddle with the rope, the side cleaning. So we were right. You just about it.
It's working. But I feel like what I've done now, where I'm at now, is I've just got to where I think it's physically capable of, and I'm just vaping it at that. I suppose with all RDTAs, if you push them too hard, they can't keep up. I suppose.
I mean, even the best ones struggle a little bit. You have to play with them.
I thought you liked that
times to get them right. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love the vape. I love the vape on it. It's just, and it's nothing. All it is it's very rare these days. You get something you haven't really tried before.
Yeah.
And so it's just taking more playing than normal, really.
Richard, did you ever have an Origin V2?
Yeah. I did have one. I borrowed it for 2 weeks. I loved it, but that's just I just used to put cotton right down.
Yeah.
And that was a vertical coil as well.
Yeah.
The way So no, that was great. I loved that, but that had a limit as well. I found.
Yeah, I mean, it takes about one of those will do about 40 watts before it starts to get edgy. 60 at max.
The genius of that though is they made it banging flavour at 40 watts. It's a lovely little chamber, and
there's loads of brilliance. I mean, the Origin, a lot of people owe that. It's Jews. It didn't whistle. It's got lots of, it's machined brilliantly well.
Smoothest airflow I've ever known in an eye.
It was great.
Oh, lovely tank.
I'll send you one, Richard.
Yeah. So
I've got 8 of them, so you can have one if you want.
All right, nice one.
Look at that. Won't take a helix. Have one of them. Go on, mate. Yeah.
I've only got 3.
So that is the Mato. I am enjoying playing with it. when you have it all just happy, it's superb flavour, as they often are when the coil's right up the top. I still like RDTAs. I don't know why they haven't taken off in the UK.
People can't be arsed wicking them.
Yeah, simple as that, isn't it? And squonking as well.
Yeah, and I think it's 2 mil is a problem when it comes to those big tanks.
Yeah, that's not
that's
thing,
not
obviously. I don't know.
No.
That's...
Initially, they only released this tank in Germany, and now I think they want to release it wider. But I still don't think it'll come to the UK, so we'll see. Because what's the point? You know, they'd have to cut the stainless steel rope.
You can't do it, and if you cut it, once you get so small, it collapses. So
yeah. So that's a thing. But I'm enjoying it, and that's that. Okay, so Craig.
Hello.
Easy. We need to find out what's been going on. What's been going on, Craig?
You really sound like a probation officer then. What's been going on?
I know what's been going on. It's like yesterday I went for a course yesterday to do with my illness called Looking After Your Joints. Which
and you were like, you were there kind of going, oh.
Yeah, it's like, I'm in the right place.
Avoid windy days.
I was the only bloke there, and as they went round, it was kind of like they were all going over, yeah, I hit the menopause, and then this happened and that, and they were going around the table as loads of everybody else is female. And he comes round to me and it's like, hi, it's Craig, I've got rheumatoid arthritis. I've not hit the menopause yet.
Good man.
Just kind of go. So he's kind of, doing that. So I'm doing that. I've got hydrotherapy in about a month's time.
Did that get a laugh, Craig?
What?
The menopause.
That you're not hitting the menopause?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm the only bloke there, so it's kind of like I'm under their wing.
Yeah, like at Fat Club.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's kind of, it's great. So,
not that you go to Fat Club. That's what I hear about.
I might have to soon. Yeah.
That's what I hear about.
You can tell.
Places.
Brad might. But
Brad's too busy on the toilet.
So I've got hydrotherapy, I've got physiotherapy, I've got occupational therapy, which is knitting.
You are in so much shit. I'll tell her.
And all I can think in my head when you said that was, John's looking healthy. That was the first thing that sprang to mind. It's terrible.
Why do you have to knit?
No, he's making a joke about occupational therapy. It used to be basket weaving and shit like that. That was like 30 years ago.
I thought that was what they did with prisoners.
He knows that's what Mrs. John does for a living, but she certainly doesn't teach people how to knit.
Yeah. Doing that and then working away, and I've not had anything to do with vaping at all. I watch a little bit of what goes on from a distance and kind of enjoy it, but I've not bought any vaping gear for I think the last things I bought with that modern off you, Richard, I think that was about it.
Well, that's what happens, isn't it? Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's amazing how little stuff you actually use. Despite the fact there's like hundreds of Atties that are sitting around it, I'm still only using 5 or 6 regularly. That's it.
It's nice to have the choice to use what you like. It's a different thing when you're, as you say there, when you're in the middle of it. If somebody sends you something, I'm not saying I feel obliged. I always think, I do. You kind of think, I'll use it because that's what I should do, because people want to know. So I will, use it.
Yeah, but it's amazing how you're at the moment that you stop looking, you start to realise, hold on a minute, all the shit that I've actually got is pretty fucking good at doing exactly what you want, which was to stop you from smoking. So it's kind of
it's kind of like getting off the treadmill, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's good for that. There are certain elements that you do kind of miss, like turning up and doing a show and being able to rant about something, which is kind of, that's one bit I do miss sometimes.
I saw there was a really great article the other day just on the same kind of theme of vaping stuff. And it said scientists in America are not concerned that vaping is not good for you, but they're just going to make it. They want to make it safer with the problem is that there hasn't really been any technology in it yet. They're like, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Thousands and thousands of sole traders. I mean, you couldn't get a better way of getting something to the best it can be than the way it is. You know, it's so fast.
It is, and it hasn't changed that much. You know, looking from a distance at stuff, and I see what there is around, and everyth's the fucking same. It's like, you know, you've just shown that steel, you know, the steel rod and an RDTA. It's like, well, that's an Origin.
Yeah,
that's a 5-year-old technology, which is just, they've just gone, hey, look, it's the same as that, and I can guarantee it won't be as good in that particular instance. But I look back at all of these, the RDAs and the ATIs that come out, and you could pretty much name 5 absolutely killer RDAs or tanks or whatever from 3 years ago that would easily destroy anything that's coming out now. You know, like the Narda, for instance. The Narda's still a killer. It's an absolute fucking stone cold killer. It's that good, you know, and nothing has really improved on it. And people go, oh, well, it's just a little bit better. And it's like, no, what's happened is that you've just concentrated all your ability and your skill upon wicking for that particular ATI that you've just got now and forgotten about the Narda. And the same as you've still got the old K-Fun users. If you've got a K-Fun from somebody who's been using one for 6-7 years, it'll be absolutely fucking perfect. Because
I don't think they ever beat the light.
No.
The first one, not even by the 2, they'd gone wrong.
Yeah. I think you came out at a good time though, Craig, because it did kind of stand still a bit. We went into this pod phase, and we went into we're now in an AIO phase, and people are back on the Billet box and all the bridges that go with that.
And I kind of get that, but I think it's people need to actually go back. And I think one thing that would really pass well now would be somebody who did reviews of gear that's like 4 or 5 years old, and actually went and said, here you go, here's something from all of that time ago, if you can get hold of one. It's a bit like, I've gone out recently and bought a little Roland MC707 because I want to make some music on it. It cost a lot of money, but you look back at some of the older gear, which is the stuff that everybody wants. You know, they want the TB303 that makes the ASTD sound. They want the Jupiter 8 so they can sound like Human League. All of those old things are just going up and up because people want them all.
There's lots of stuff that is great, but they don't make. There's lots of these things that aren't made anymore. These companies are obsolete.
I think, especially with the crackdown on Facebook groups selling an actual used vape gear shop, like an actual retro vape shop, where they source the gear and sell it used.
Yeah, there was a guy called Mooch, not the Mooch that we know, but there was another Mooch that used to run events over in the US. I can't remember the names of them now. Angsty and all of those guys all went to one back in about 2015, and he started up a second-hand vape shop, which is purely getting all second-hand gear in. But I do think if you want to hunt around them, just keep your eye out just for little things that people are passing by. It's like the Origin V2, for instance. You'd probably pick one of those up now for 30 quid, 25 quid. You know.
Okay, that's a good set though. Let's pretend we've got a shop though, just for a second, and you can pick up an Origin for 30 quid out in the wild. So as a shop, you'd want to be buying it for what, a tenner?
No, you could get there. For example, someone listed a mod on our sales page that was way too cheap today. You know, so
I just mean, would you be? Is this such a? I am totally in agreement, but it's really other people have tried it. Especially with sites selling second.
I'm not saying it would be like supermarket scale. I'm not saying, you know, you've got the next Sainsbury's on your hands. I'm talking about that from almost like a hobby, almost like an evening.
Oh, okay.
Job.
So making no money out of it.
No, like an evening job. People do very well off second jobs, you know.
True.
Yeah, I don't know what the pros and cons. It's not like, the thing is, vaping isn't like record collecting where you go out and buy 3,000 records and then go, I'm stopping doing that, so I'm going to go down the road to Vinyl Exchange and drop 3,000 records on the top and say, will you give me $1,000 for it? And then they sell them off individually. That's where they kind of make their money out of doing it. So if you are going to buy them, you need them from like collectors who just go, okay, well, I'm done now.
Yeah, that would be key. That would be key.
Yeah.
Just create almost source, like with all those things, sourcing the gear. So if you had 20 people, 30 people who just were massive collectors but were siphoning off their gear, and they knew they could just come straight to you a little bit cheaper, just
that okay, yeah, all right, we're all taking off the same hymn sheet.
But I do think something. Oh, go on, bro.
On that same subject, quick round table. What would you go looking to buy now? Old tech.
Velocity.
Any of the early Kennedys straight away.
It's not bad. I'd probably have a Velocity.
I spent a bit of time looking for a Paps until
the Goon V1. The Goon V1.
Yeah,
I know I'd have. What was the one after the Velocity V1 before the V2?
The Marquis.
Marquis. I'd have one of those.
Yeah.
Marquis.
Yeah.
Marquis.
That was a great design.
That was such a great Atty.
Yeah. I mean, you've got all of those early ones, even things like the Toad, Still Airs, I'm trying to, off the top of my head, a lot of the earlier US.
What about you, Brad? Is there anything you want?
I'm probably buy back my K-Fun, which I still miss. I think I've sold and bought back the same K-Fun 3 times.
Right, really? I've given away 2.
And it always ends up in a raffle or in something or being sold. And 6 months later, I buy it back and I have it for 2-3 months, and a raffle comes up.
I just mean someone doing it on the same level that you see like antique dealers that have a day job, but then they'll spend Saturday in a car boot sale, and then Sunday flogging it online.
I agree with you, but I used to do that. So you want it? I know what the dealer's price is, which is just significantly lower. But if you bought in a bulk, if you were going to buy 50 items or something like that, then you wouldn't care, would you? You would care less. If I gave you $2,000, you can fuck, because basically the deal was always the same thing. You can fuck about and you can make 4.5, or I'll give you 2. You know, no fucking about, and I'll give you 2 now. That's where you hit the nail on the head. That's how you do it.
Paula was saying, wouldn't you be breaking liquid restrictions as a distributor? Who else has said something? 5 to 8. The 5 to 8 months of the early K-Fun that they kind of drilled out. If you get those, the Velocity, the Kennedy 25, it's kind of. I think the problem is kind of it's a slightly different area.
Wasn't there a little term on used gear that it doesn't have to meet the? I'm sure there was something about some caveat that allowed used gear that was pre-TPD or something. I don't know.
But I'm sure there'll be ways. There is ways around it.
You'd be providing a service as well to an extent that someone, if you just bought a Facebook group, wouldn't. So you would properly clean it. In
change the O-rings
thingies and O-ring. Try and rebox it.
Load of O-rings only cost you £100. You can have everything.
Post it properly the same day and all that sort of nonsense.
I'd really like to see somebody actually doing reviews of like classic gear that's been of its time. It's like I'm going to use a horrible example, and John will just go, ooh, which is the Ubertoo's an example for people who've never gone.
You'd be good. You could do the Ubertoot. You could finish it properly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could. Yeah, kind of use a bit of wire wool on the inside of it. Stuff.
Use a bit of wire wool, round off those shitty air holes, stuff like that.
They still provide the benchmark for reviewers, though. Any RDA I get, I always think, is it better than my Goon?
Yeah.
It's like the Goon immediately springs to mind. The Kennedy. If you're looking at tanks and you're looking at the K-Fun, you're looking at Ubertoot. There's a couple of others maybe. You're looking outside that. If you're looking at RDTAs, then you're looking at the Origin straight away. And you think, well, nobody better than that was it.
I think, Mr. Craigston, I think we're going to go on to your.
You've got some funny questions.
Yeah, I've got people asking stupid questions.
Go on then.
Okay. That's all right. You stay tight. And
okay. Do you want to keep asking them out then?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Sorry, it's because I kind of got it the wrong way around and was doing the good deeds first.
Okay.
Stupid. Right back. We're here. Done that. What is your current vaping style?
I'll be honest with you, one I use more than anything else. Still, is the Haku on top of a runt.
So that's like that's a restricted, what we would now deem restricted open.
Yeah, it's got a single airflow. That's all that's got. It hasn't got another airflow on the other side.
But you are long hitting that bad boy, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, and that is absolutely perfect. That's the one I'd go to if I had to pick anything. It'd be that with a runt.
That's quite a good question. I'm amazed we never got to it. Jeff, oh sorry, that question was from David Charles. Jeff says, "Are you allowed to vape at chess competitions? And if so, what setup do you use?"
No, you're not.
That's
right. But normally when I go vaping, then I'll just take a tank. I'll take that with me. But occasionally you'll see somebody a match, and they'll kind of go just the one, and then kind of hold it forever, and kind of until they go blue, and then carry on playing. But yeah, you're not supposed to. Next.
What are you? Well, we've got to go on through what have you. Johan has asked what you're vaping and drinking in the evenings, but you don't drink anyway.
Nah.
You've already told us what you've got vape-wise. So
yeah, and I mean, I watch that much porn. I use all of my equipment.
Exactly. That's how we got the arthritis.
Yeah.
Mark Robson says, which mod is the best tree climber?
The top hat. Immediately the top hat. Because it kind of it goes like that, and you can see gaps in it.
It's quite good actually, yeah. There's lots of gaps.
Yeah.
I still remember telling a certain reviewer, they put up their shots ready to review it, and I said, "You're gonna have to take those shots again and do the stills again on the." It was like the coming soon bit on YouTube. And he said, "Why is that?" And I said, "You can see the table through it, and you're gonna have to hold it at an angle because I already know it's shit." And he said, No. And I said, no, I'm not going to get into it.
Was that Damien?
I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was about 5 mistakes on the front. Just holding it like that. There was 5 errors. Fucking, what was that, $1,000?
I saw him go for a lot more than that. I think the highest bid I saw on one of those was 3,200.
Oh, yeah, hands back, so we're okay. If you were an Atty, what Atty would you be? This sounds like Blind Date now. All right, she's here. Okay, she's asking now. If you were an Atty, what Atty would you be? Graham's here. Graham's here.
I'd probably be a K-Fun light. It's like restricted but nice. I think that'll do it. Classic, yet restricted.
And if you were a mod, which one would you be?
Oh,
same person. He did ask the question again. It wasn't me.
I can't think of anything witty enough now to do that. I'll think about it and come back to it and find something.
An MVP5, a dogger's best friend.
Yeah. I can use the torch to help me get up the stairs because I can't put the lights on.
Yeah, Craig doesn't join in. He just holds the torch and shouts encouraging remarks. Go on!
He just cracks the window a little bit.
Chocolate mousse.
Chocolate mousse. When you starred in Fake Taxi, what mod were you using?
I've put an answer up to that already.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad, that mod, because it is racist. It's a lot funnier if you're a member of the group. Go and join it. Facebook.com.
Yeah.
What in draw 3 across 3 up?
I've got to let everybody know. Luke.
Oh, the drawers are gone.
I've got no drawers anymore.
Gone.
Yeah, I clean them all because one of the other things that happened was they were there for that long that they just collected all the VG from around the room. So when you pulled the drawers out, they were like, whoa.
What would have been in that drawer though? You kept a pretty tight ship.
Probably a K-Fun clone or something like that. Probably.
Yeah. And 2 drip tips.
Yeah, probably. I got some fast tech replacement glass tube things.
What's best, a Gamma or a Reaper?
Reaper. Yeah. Yeah. We won't go
what are your most used setups?
Oh, that and the runt. That and the runt. Absolutely.
And the tobacco at work.
And my tobacco at wear, yeah. Or chest, yeah. But the tobacco is still brilliant.
You know it's coming, so I'm going to do the nice one first.
Okay.
Your top 5 vape friends.
Oh, that's nice, Paul. I missed that one, didn't I? Probably. Well, you 4. That's 4. You see, I'm Paul.
There's 3.
I'm my best friend.
That one in the bottom, that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
All the way through this, he's been going, I really like that bloke's hat. I'll ask him when he gets it when we're off air.
I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate that people kind of put up with me when we go out to these things and just have a, so, yeah.
You're one of those people, when you turn up, we always know it's going to be a great time. There's these people listed in your mind, and you're one of those people.
I think it's one. I think it's one of those things where you just have to kind of don't worry about the consequences. Just worry about that later.
Yeah, we missed you, especially last year when you weren't well. We went tip top, and it was probably the first year really we've not really been at the event, so it was different.
Yeah,
having you about.
Yeah, and I do miss it. I do miss those kind of things, but I'll still keep doing them anyway. I mean, it's brilliant doing the.
He's coming to London. I talked to him before the show. He's coming to London.
Yeah,
so he's coming down the pub.
I'll be down in London. So
okay, you've already got this prepared.
I guarantee everybody is going to tune into this, and this will be posted on other people's web pages. And if you're going to screenshot it, hit record now.
Paula asks, 5 biggest wankers in vaping. he was writing them down before the show.
I was writing them down because I had to make sure I got them in the right order. Okay.
You're doing an actual top of the pop style top 5.
I'll do it. Do you want to do the copyright? Yeah, copyright. Right. I'll start at the bottom at number 5.
Number 5.
Okay, and I did say I'll be honest.
I'm trying to hide my face so you can't see if I'm laughing or not.
Okay. Number 5 is Dean, the vaping bike.
Harsh. You're using his mod.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, but I wrote down in my notes before this show, I wrote this. It said, is this show Patreon only? And if so, can I have my cut of the proceeds before we start?
Without Patreon.
I'm sorry, but get in the fucking sea. Sorry.
Next. Number 4.
Right. Number 4 is Dave Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good call.
Dave Dawn is just.
Is he still about?
I think he's retired.
Good. The farther he gets away from everybody, the better. Thank you, NNA. You wanker. Right. Number 3 is Paolo from Frankenskull. Right. If you want to know why, here's the backstory. The backstory is I was stood outside the Prince Rupert in Shrewsbury back in 2016. And it was the Saturday morning, and I kind of had got used to where everything was, and from the year before. And anyway, this guy walks past Boulder, and he's kind of then walks past me again the other way, and he's like, "Are you okay, mate? You lost?" And he's like, "Which way's Vakefest?" And I said, "Oh, you need to go down that way, turn right, go past Marks and Spencer's, and keep following it round, and just head out of town." And then he just walked off. The moment that he turned around and walked off that was it. He was kind of like not having a fucking thing to do with you because you didn't say thank you. And that's why he's on that list. Be civil. If somebody helps you out, just be fucking civil. So, yeah.
I thought you were going to say all the dodgy raffles and stuff.
Oh God, yeah, some of that shit was awful. Like you joined a raffle. What was it? You paid a raffle ticket to buy the mod.
To have a chance of buying the mod.
Yes. That also can get in the fucking sea. That's outrageous, that kind of shit. It's especially at a place like Vape Fest where everything is about community spirit, and he went in there like a robbing bull prick and decided he was going to try and milk it from us.
The only thing I would say is I think it's I did it. I'm not defending it, by the way. Don't worry, Craig. Don't set yourself up. When we ran not abstract. We did exactly what you just did. Artisan.
Yeah.
I do remember trying to get rid of the list. We did a few raffles which were free.
Yeah.
So that you could get your mod made.
That's totally different.
You entered. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what that would be the difference. Is what I'm saying. You didn't pay at all. You just got raffle ticket, and
that wasn't for a piece of 3D printed plastic. That was for the best made mods on the planet at that time.
Yeah. Well, we got shit for it. Somebody, people said they haven't won fuck all. They didn't pay. What the fuck? They don't have to do shit.
Yeah. The other incident I heard with that guy from Franklin School was a certain vape event he went to, sold out in 10 minutes and left.
He did it at Vape Fest as well.
Yeah.
That's
Vape Fest.
like from a community standpoint, that's awful.
Yeah. And you've got to, just hang around. You've made your money. Take everybody out for a beer and some.
Do a couple of laps and shake some hands. And...
Yeah, go and say hello to people because you might find out there's somebody there who knows a bit more about it than you do. And it's kind of, you can get in the fucking sea as well, you Italian prick. Anyway.
Okay. Number two. That was only three.
Number two is Chris Empire Vape.
Oh, right.
I've never met the guy. I've never spoken to the guy. I don't think I've ever mentioned anything about the guy. Yeah. Why has he been such a prick when he was doing everything that we're doing with the show? I never kind of understood it. What was going on?
Never met.
And the other bit that just winds me up is he's permanently attached to number one on my list.
I knew you were going to
by an umbilical cord that's 150 miles long. It's kind of like, so number one on my list. Victor Mullen, come on down. Fucking bellend. I'm not a fan. Sorry. Right, but I'm gonna get this off my chest because I've waited a long time for this, right? Which is this. When you keep on having people and you keep blaming all of these people for all of the world's problems and all the things that they've gone and said to you, it's always somebody else's fault. You are the common fucking constant in the middle of all of this shit that always keeps on coming around. You took Mark vaping postman for a fucking ride, an absolute fucking ride. And the thing is, he's turning around now, and I'm watching him on YouTube, but actually, going and saying, "Oh well, it's kind of 16 months ago, he was a different person." No, Mark, no. What he did is he took you for a fucking ride from the first fucking second that he knew that opportunity was coming, and he's been doing it from the very beginning.
We're getting some views tonight, Richard, by the way.
You go and look up, you can go back to the old chats where Vick used to turn up into the SV chat and he used to speak to John, and he sat there going on about clones, and John said, well, here are the pros and the cons, and did all of this lot and had a proper sit down, and he got to the end and he went, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And then went out and did a show which basically went and slagged off fucking using proper gear. Just, it's like, it's this permanent fucking attraction. So you're at number one on the list just for all of the fucking troubles that you've caused, all the people that you've blamed, all of the people that you've sworn at, including Christmas 2015, of which we've still got the video on a fucking drive on the internet, you twat. You think we're fucking amateurs. You really does think we're fucking amateurs at playing this kind of stuff, mate. You got played from the start. And by the way, I was the person who ran the Victor Mullen fucking parody account that was on Twitter as well. You really are a knobhead, mate. There you go. That's my top 5.
Very good. Very good.
Stuart. Arton. Only been vaping 4 months, trying all sorts of tanks and build and stock coils, modern technology with wires and stuff. Does the liquid viscosity make any difference?
No. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. If it's thicker, then use a bit more wick or have the juice closer to the coil. That's all you need to know.
Scotty Bogfoot, do you miss being on the show?
Yes. And the reason why I miss it is not because of rants and none of that kind of stuff. It's a chance to sit down with friends and just have a bit of a laugh and kind of enjoy all of it. And that's the reason that people should be doing these shows for. They're not about subscribers or anything else. It's just people who've got a bit of a common interest, just having a bit of a giggle and having a chat. Most of this stuff is the pre-show, you know, and all the other stuff that surrounds it, and the group and all of those kind of things. Those are the bits that make it.
I was thinking about this the other day, Craig. To be totally fair, lots of people don't understand. Since the show started, and you know, and since when we were doing the Ideal Home Show and everything else, that we didn't know each other, and when we got introduced to Richard, like 7 months in, 6-7 months in, something like that, and suddenly you've got a group of blokes who don't know each other who talk every single day about different stuff, and like the worst things in the world are funny to us because we've been speaking every day for 4 years. So like there is no level of the worst possible things you can say. Think whatever you want how disgusting it is. I promise it's worse than that when it comes to things we'll say to each other, and we literally we speak to each other all the time, and so there is a real camaraderie within the thing. So when Craig left the show, and when it wasn't losing just him from the show, it was obviously losing him in the cycle of bits and bobs that we do.
But there was another side to that as well, which is, you know, the reason that I left the show, which I don't think anybody really knows outside of us, which was that I left because me and Rick had a bit of an argument before we did a show before, you know, and I thought to myself, the friendship isn't worth the show, if you see what I mean. It's kind of like my friendship was more important to Rick than to do the show, and I wasn't willing to sacrifice Rick just to keep on doing this, and that made no sense to me at all, you see. So it was kind of it was better that I backed away and went and said, look, you go and do what you're going to do, and I'll stay good friends rather than let the show deteriorate the friendship. You see, so it's kind of, and it worked out really well because, you know, I'm still good mates with every single one of you, unlike another vape show.
Absolutely. What's the oldest thing you still have in rotation? That's JP.
Probably the Uber 2, 2014. That's a V1, by the way.
I don't know what JP's talking about here. Was John thinking about us at IVM when he dropped the hamster filter the other day?
Oh, no idea.
What hamster?
No.
I don't know. Idea. I must have done a thingy, stupid. Do you think alien wraps or Claptons make any difference to the vape?
Actually, yes.
I agree now.
I agree now. Now that people have actually got used to making them properly for the kind of gear that we use as our main gear. Because before it was like, here's a fucking great big piece of metal.
It was massive.
Yeah, and hope for the best. Whereas now it's become sensible.
And I agree. I think we've got that's got really a lot more refined. Andy Fairchild, what's the biggest party you DJ'd at? I think I'm going to change that to event.
I've DJ'd at my own organised gig was I organised or helped to organise. It was actually I was the assistant manager for it, which was the Prodigy down in Leek Road that we did, which was just under 2,000 people, and then the biggest event that I played was 6,500 altogether. So
pretty cool. Did you have a different DJ name to your own?
No, I was actually Craig H. That was all it was. Yeah.
Craig H.
I said to somebody the other day, I've got a mix from 1995 that I'll have to put up on. I'll put it.
Yeah, definitely stick that up.
Yeah, it's proper cheesy old piano tunes and shit. So.
Rick's is.
Oh God!
Gone off my head because this is his graffiti tag as well, isn't it?
Yes.
It begins with D in my head.
Oh, it's 4 letters.
Yeah, I've got dope, but it's not that. Anybody help us out?
What are you trying to get?
Trying to get Rick's DJ name. It's his tag. It's a graffiti tag.
His tag from Vape Fest in my head, but I can't think of.
Somebody give it to us, please.
Not drop. No. I can't
give it to us.
Anyway, Rick is fucking brilliant at graffiti, by the way. Just like everyone.
Unbelievable.
Oh, God, he's good.
It really, really good. John Malcolm, why is Craig dressed as Dominic Cummings?
I've not got one of those things around my neck and my
only
arse hanging
19
out.
minutes ago.
Like my trousers fit. Like there might be a bit of belly there, but my trousers
You're
fit.
doing all right. 50 and you're still not wearing them up to your nipples. You're doing okay.
Yeah. So if there's any others, please feel free to put them forward for the next time I appear on the show.
That was
if
it.
I get
I think
invited back.
aren't we meant to be doing lovely bits now? We need it.
We might slip you a Prozac before the next show.
Yeah, we haven't got much time left, but we're going to do a couple of
nicest things in vaping.
Nice moments in vaping people's personal stories. Did any particularly catch your eye, John? Riyadh shared a nice one. Craig purchased him a halloumi burger, and he was very excited about that, but it turned out to be a vegetarian burger.
I still remember that. That was on the Friday night,
Thursday night.
Mushroom.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal one really quick. The nicest thing that I can ever remember in terms of just a single moment would have been Kevin Magwood when he came down to Vape Jam. I think it was in 2016.
Yeah,
and he was well at the time, but he was looking not great, but he was well in general. And he sat in with us all, and we'd organised all sofas, and he came and joined us, and he chatted to everybody, and then I looked up and he just disappeared. So it's like, where's Kevin now? He's gone. And he left and he hadn't said goodbye to anybody. He just left on his own. So kind of like ran down past the Chinese just outside of Vape Jam and said, Kevin, are you going? And it's like, yeah, I didn't want to disturb anybody. And it's like, just fuck you, Kevin. It's like you
missed one
nicest bloke.
Major thing of that. Kevin, we lost Kevin a few years ago, but Kevin had spent the next day. I couldn't work out how I'd got any money left, and I said to Craig, "We had so many drinks last night. I've still got 20 quid in my pocket. Who was buying the drinks?" And Craig went, "Kev, he literally bought like 8 rounds, one after the other. I don't even know what the fuck he paid. There was like." I don't even know. He must have been 500 quid in.
Yeah.
But he never said a word.
No, and then he just sneaks
amazing.
Up
Amazing guy.
Yeah, but that Kevin, I think a lot of people have probably got Kevin in their heads as being one of the nicest blokes, I think.
Quick, because I can run off the top of this. Because I'm going to include mine, and because Paula said here, the Amy stuff. There was a raffle for Paula's daughter some years ago. And it was the biggest one I ever did. And I closed it at 9.5 grand.
Yeah.
That night.
Yeah, it was very special.
That was huge, that was.
It was the biggest that I ever. I think it's the biggest one SV ever did. And I shut the whole thing down. I used to do this thing where I'd sit on the floor in the kitchen because there were tiles and anywhere to stay awake because it's just like had the cold touching the side of you. If you tried to relax, you'd die. And it was really, really difficult to go through all the entries. Anyway, did it. Cut it up, ran it, put it down, did a live record with Paula that she'd agreed to, where I transferred the money to her. I didn't tell her, but the phone was next to her. And I said, well, I'm going to send the money over. And the money went over, and she looked at the phone and it kind of fell apart immediately. Did the whole thing as pro as I could. Said goodnight to Paula, shut it down. And then whenever you do anything like that, your brain just falls apart because it's just too much. And I was just thinking, I don't really know what the hell I'm going to do now. And I looked at my phone, it lit up. And Craig had messaged me saying he'd set up a hangout, and he knew I'd need talking down. And I sat up with Craig till about 3:30 in the morning because he wouldn't have it that I was so wound up.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best thing to do is go and find that thread on the thing and read through the incredible things that people have done just because they've stopped smoking.
Even little ones like there was someone that said that at Jam, John forced me to come and sit down with everyone. Otherwise, I'd have just, they said I'd have just mingled about and not, got involved.
I'm rubbish with names,
things
but
like
I'm
that
all right
make a
with
big
faces.
difference,
Yeah, but it's always been that thing because I don't. Craig's always been really matey. Like I've never known you not know everybody, but when you don't know everybody, which I've done the event where I didn't, I've been and nobody spoke to me, and I just walked around and then left. What a vape fest, whatever it was, 2013 or 2013, 2012. Didn't really talk to anybody, but it's very clicky, and I just left. And so when we started this, and then when we became doing what we're doing, I've said this before, but if I ever spot somebody on the outside, I'd always drag them in, because I know that that's what you need. You need somebody to lead you in and say, no, it's fine. You are one of us. Come and sit down. Don't linger. Just sit the fuck down. We'll have a nice time. And that was Richard Jack, who's been down a few times. And Richard came to IVM. He's a great chap, but it's just that leaps too far. Jib Jeffs, who asked one of the questions, I saw him lingering on the other side of the road from the Fox. And I saw him take a big, deep breath and then just went, I'm in, and then just went for it.
And the other one was probably John Paul, that was just so funny. John Paul at
the event?
At Vape Me.
At IVM, yeah.
Which is just like, that was just amazing. Just kind of like, just go on in. Because at first I didn't recognise him because he walked past us as we sat outside, and it didn't click in my head the same way it didn't click when I first met Frank. But it was, seeing like John Paul. Sometimes it can go wrong. There's a couple of times I've invited people to come and say hello to everybody, and they really haven't been anything at all to do with any of us. You kind of like look at it like, what? So I'm waiting for my wife.
Jump to Brad, quick.
My first vape jam was actually very similar to that. That was when I randomly accosted the four of you.
Yeah, I remember these
outside, and I'd walked around inside, and like you said, it's clicky. I didn't know a soul there, and I was literally walking out.
Yeah, I remember we met you at the top of the stairs just as you go in the door.
Yeah, I just wandered round and round my first fest.
And I was actually getting ready to leave. Then you guys said, come have a beer. And after heaven only knows how much beer, I was held up and walked to the train. Someone put a burger in my hand, and there was someone there that had biltong from South Africa. And they gave me a bag full of biltong and sat me on the train. And of course, I ate the burger, ate the biltong, fell asleep on the train on the way home, and went way past home. I went all the way out of London. But if it wasn't for being brought into the circle by you guys, that wouldn't have happened, and none of this would.
Yeah, I think the thing with everything that's happened in here is all about that. Everything that's happened on that thread. I'm going to bump it now, but go and find the thread on and read through the stories, because these people, everyone's got nothing in common, but they don't smoke anymore, and they found a different way to do it. And everybody on there who did something for somebody else, it's incredible. Just through this stupid little thing. But people don't do anymore.
But I'm going to link back to my 5 fucking people list, right? Because I've got to do this. A long time ago, when we went down to Vape Expo, I think it was the first Vape Expo, and we all sat around, and everybody like came along, and to a man and woman, anybody that came along and said, "Hi, I'm such and such," was instantly just enveloped by everybody that was going on. And it was kind of like, well, we're all sat around everywhere, and Vick was there and on his own, and he spent so much time just staring at us, just kind of giving us eyes and stuff, and it was kind of like, what's going on? And it was all very kind of weird. And it's like, all he had to do was to have come across and just gone, hello, right, or something, and just just been like everybody else. But instead, what he did was, he then went home and then produced a video where he basically went and attacked every single one of us for sitting there and being elitist. And that, I can't forgive that kind of thing, where it's kind of like, we've sat there and we've taken all of this shit, and we gave you the perfect opportunity where you could have just come over and said hello, and you didn't, and you went home and you went and made a video and put it up on the internet and basically slagged everybody off. And I think if you do that, then expect various levels of retribution somewhere along the line. But it's kind of
Craig 4 years later.
But I won't forget it. I will not forget it. It's kind of, But we are really nice people, and we'll do anything that we can to help everybody out, and we have, in so many instances. So
knackering, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was another reason. It was hard work, and it was always weird. It was always very strange doing vape reviewing, because I was never kind of comfortable with having lots of people kind of coming up and saying hello and doing all of that kind of stuff.
I think my favourite was the weird. There was a great title, and it was at Expo at Birmingham. I'll do this, and then we're going to wrap this. But we were at Birmingham, and it was our first show. And a guy walked up to Craig, walked up to us both, and he went, "Oh, hi, what's the Ideal Ohm Show every week?" And we were like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And he said, "I'm here with my wife." And I said, "Oh, cool." And he said, "Yeah. She's in the toilet, but she'll be back in a minute." And we went, "Oh, right. Did she watch the show?" And he said, "Yeah, sort of. She don't vape, but she watched the show." And we said, "Oh, okay, cool." And he said, "Yeah." And he looked Craig dead in the eye and he said, "You're on her list." And I went, "What list is that?" And he went, "List of people she's allowed to fuck, and I'm not even allowed to say anything." And then he went, "Can I have a selfie?" And I went, "I'll take the picture." I just took the picture for him. And I was putting faces behind the camera. And then I'll give Craig this, because about 45 minutes later, I think we were walking to another gate, and a guy walks up and he went, "You all right?" And I said, "We went, yeah." He said, "Oh, what's the show?" We went, "Oh, great." And he looked me dead in the eye and he said, "My wife really wants to fuck you." And Craig went, "Give me the camera."
And I'm like,
it was an amazing moment. I was like, just as we turned to the door, Craig was like, "Yeah." And I went, "Just shut the fuck up. Let's just go up on the pub." That'll do.
Anyway, thank you for having me on, and Richard, I hope you get a lot of views from the drama.
Thank you very much.
We're usually fine. We're usually fine. People know not to come here if they want drama. So I'm sure it'll go past unnoticed.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'll be watching at work in the background, so I see what happens. I feel so much better.
Good.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thanks for
we
coming
love
on.
you.
Good to see you. Always good to catch
Yeah, nice one, kids.
Oh, everybody, start getting prepped for this year of the different events that are on. I will say there is Vape Expo in London in February. There is Vape Jam in April. There is Stuttgart and Expo in May. I know I'm going to Stuttgart this year.
They're not the exact same time this year, are they?
I don't know, but I know they're both May. So anyway, I'm going to Stuttgart. I won't be going to Birmingham. And I will be at Jam, but we're not going to Jam. Fuck Jam. Let's go down the pub.
Is there going to be a Vape Fest this year?
No.
Doubt it.
No, they've confirmed no. There's no Vape Fest.
What a surprise. Are you doing Ideal Vape Me?
Stay tuned.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, so that's about it. That's about it for tonight. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you next week. Cheers, Craig.
Thank you, Craig.
Have a good one.
Bye.
See you next Thursday.